Did you know that men form their first impression of you in just 7 seconds? And here's the shocking part. This first impression remains even after months of face-to-face interaction. This happened, but what you still don't know could completely change how you're perceived forever. Hello, I'm Carol, and this is the Lucrative Elegance channel. If you want to learn the secret codes of elegance that transform ordinary women into women who cause admiration wherever they go, subscribe to the channel now, activate the bell, and leave your like, because what I'm going to share will make you stand out from 95% of other women. There's a brutal reality that no one talks about openly. Men tend to make categorical judgments where women see nuances. This happened over thousands of years of evolution. Therefore, they instantly catalog you into one of two categories: worth it or common. But here's what few know. It's not your physical beauty that defines this classification. At a discreet dinner in Manhattan, two women enter the same restaurant. Both wear simple dresses, both are well-groomed. But only one receives the respectful look from the maitre d', the genuine smile from the sommelier, the table with a privileged view. This happened because one of them possesses what the other hasn't discovered yet. But it's not money, it's not beauty, it's the silent language of authentic elegance. The difference? A common woman smiles to be accepted. An elite woman smiles because she is at peace. Science has revealed something fascinating. Researchers discovered that men first evaluate emotional availability in facial expressions, then the difference between genuine confidence and desperation, and finally whether your energy seems soft or armored. This happened in laboratories around the world, but most women have no idea about these three invisible filters. The first sign, your emotional availability. Here's something that will shock you. When you widen your eyes, you literally signal that you have nothing to hide. This happened in a study at New York University. Therefore, men unconsciously associate more open eyes with trustworthiness. But there's a catch. I'm not talking about bulging your eyes like a startled owl. I'm talking about the subtle difference between a woman who seems mentally present versus one who seems lost in thoughts. Research shows that eyes are considered the exclamation point of the face. They amplify all other emotions. Have you ever noticed how some women enter an environment and everyone looks, while others go unnoticed? The difference isn't in the size of the eyes, but in the presence behind them. An elite woman seems to be completely here now, available for interaction. The second sign, confidence versus desperation. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Forced expressions create an incompatibility between different parts of the face, and the male brain detects this instantly. This happened because our survival depended on detecting falsehood. Therefore, when you force a smile that doesn't reach your eyes, you're sending an alarm signal. You know that story about the Mona Lisa? Leonardo da Vinci understood something profound about feminine expressions. Her enigmatic smile works because it seems genuine and controlled at the same time. She's not trying to impress, she simply is impressive. Micro-expressions last less than half a second and are practically impossible to control. This happened because they come from the limbic system. But when you're internally confident, these micro-expressions work in your favor. The difference between a high-quality woman and a desperate one? The first doesn't need to prove anything. Her facial expression says, "I'm fine with myself, with or without your approval." The third sign, soft energy versus armored. This is the most subtle and most powerful. Researchers discovered that impressions of facial softness influence attraction more than perfect facial proportions. This happened in intercultural studies. Therefore, it's not a cultural preference, it's universal. But here's the secret that separates common women from elite women. Softness doesn't mean vulnerability. It means you're open to connection while maintaining your self-respect. It's the difference between a door slightly ajar and a fortress. An armored woman has an expression that says, interaction will be difficult. A soft woman says, I'm secure enough to be genuine. Do you really believe you can hide behind an Instagram filter when your eyes have already told everything in the first 7 seconds? Less than 5% of women understand that your facial expression is like a silk business card. No one sees you handing it out, but everyone feels the texture. Juliana always thought she was invisible at social events. She dressed perfectly, chose the right clothes, but something didn't work. This happened until she realized that her face told a story of tension, not presence. But when she learned to communicate inner peace through her expression, everything changed. The waiter started smiling before asking for her order. The bank manager greeted her without knowing why. She had become a signal of silent quality, and the world responded accordingly. The 7-second reset that changes everything. You can't fake these signals for long because micro-expressions are the result of conflict between voluntary and involuntary emotional responses. This happened because your facial expression comes from your internal state. Therefore, the only real way to change it is by changing from the inside out. Here's my 7-second reset technique before entering any social environment. First second, breathe deeply to reset your posture. Second second, think of a warm and genuine memory. Don't force it. Just let it happen. Third second, relax your shoulders to release tension from your face. Now enter. Your facial signals will be coming from an authentic state, not a forced performance. Want immediate proof? Do the 7-second reset before entering the supermarket tomorrow. Notice if the security guard looks at you differently, if the cashier treats you more kindly, if other customers seem more cordial. Small tests, big signals. Why this matters more than you imagine. Studies from Cornell University showed that impressions based only on photographs continued to influence how people felt about someone, even after face-to-face interactions months later. This happened because first impressions create a filter. But this means that your facial expression not only determines how you're seen, it determines how you're treated. Once someone subconsciously classifies you as high quality or common, every gesture of yours will be interpreted through that lens. If they see you as warm from the beginning, neutral actions will be seen as positive. If they see you as cold, they'll be colder in response. In high-standard environments, discreet vernissages, brunches on the Upper East Side, elite corporate events, no one will comment on your beauty. This happened because beauty is expected in these circles. But everyone notices when your face communicates security and silent elegance, and that's enough. An elite woman doesn't need to announce her quality. She transmits it through the silence of her confidence. And the truth about elite women. Speaking of high quality, have you ever noticed how truly sophisticated women seem to have a secret code? They dress differently, behave differently, and are treated differently everywhere they go. This is the perfect moment to tell you about my course, Look Rich Without Spending Much, which is in promotional launch right now. Classes are being released gradually, and as soon as the course is complete, the price will rise to full price without discount. This course isn't about looking rich, it's about being treated like someone of value, even before opening your mouth, because that's how the true elite navigates the world. When you learn these codes, you don't just seem more sophisticated, you're treated with more respect, receive better service, and open doors that remained closed. It's the difference between a woman everyone assumes has pedigree and one who is obviously trying to impress. The link is in the description. And remember, this is the promotional price. When the course is complete, this price won't return. The trap that 95% of women fall into. Most women make the same mistake. They try to compensate for insecurity with expensive makeup or flashy clothes. This happened because we were taught that external beauty solves everything. But research shows that men evaluate emotional softness before physical characteristics. A common woman thinks, if I dress better, I'll impress more. An elite woman knows, if I feel better, I'll naturally impress more. The difference is in the internal state that creates the external expression. You can use the most expensive makeup in the world, but if your micro-expression says, I'm insecure, you lost in the first 7 seconds. While a common woman tries to stand out with lip gloss, a refined woman is noticed by the silence of her security. The power of imperceptible details. Studies from 2024 showed that men are more attracted to women with higher-pitched voices because this correlates with smaller bodies, which are associated with physical fitness. This happened over millennia of evolution, but what does this have to do with facial expressions? Everything. Because just as our voice unconsciously communicates information about us, our facial expression is constantly transmitting data about our internal quality. Researchers discovered that we can categorize social class just by observing faces, with accuracy significantly higher than chance. An elite woman doesn't need to announce her quality. She transmits it through almost imperceptible microsignals. It's like a frequency that only people of similar level can tune into. Here's something counterintuitive. The less you try to impress, the more impressive you become. This happened because authenticity is detected subconsciously. But most women do the opposite. They try so hard to make a good impression that they end up seeming desperate. An elite woman understands this paradox. She doesn't need to prove her quality because her inner tranquility already proves it. The science of first impressions. Scientists discovered that we need only 100 milliseconds to form impressions about competence, trustworthiness, and aggressiveness based only on the face. This happened in studies with thousands of participants. Therefore, you have less than a second to communicate your essence. The good news? Once you master these signals, they work for you automatically. It's like having a silent commercial of your quality running 24 hours a day. Research from the University of Warwick found the first real evidence that men tend to make categorical judgments where women see nuances. This happened because we process information in different ways. But this means that men classify you quickly into a category and rarely change their opinion. Most women don't understand this fundamental difference. They think they have time to show their personality and reverse a negative first impression. But science shows the opposite. You have 7 seconds to be categorized as worth it or common. The secret of microexpressions. Microexpressions are facial movements that last between 65 and 500 milliseconds, controlled by the limbic system and practically impossible to fake. This happened because they reveal our real emotional state. But when you work on your internal state, these microexpressions automatically work in your favor. Have you ever noticed how some women have that magnetic presence we can't explain? Recent studies showed that larger eyes increase the perceived intensity of emotional expressions, and men are particularly sensitive to these variations. Research on nonverbal communication shows that 55% of the message comes from body language, 38% from tone of voice, and only 7% from words. This happened because we evolved to read signals long before we developed language. Therefore, your facial expression is communicating much more than anything you could say. When you master this silent communication, you literally speak a language that everyone understands, but few know how to use consciously. The difference between looking rich and being elite. Here's a fascinating discovery. In dating profile photographs, attractiveness was an accurate indicator of higher social class. But in neutral faces, only the impression of well-being served as a valid clue of wealth. This happened because truly rich women don't need to look rich. Therefore, they simply radiate a sense of well-being and contentment. A common woman tries to project wealth through external symbols. An elite woman projects quality through inner peace that naturally reflects on the face. Studies revealed that people judge facial attractiveness with more precision in female faces than male ones, while giving more precise wealth judgments for male faces. This happened because we pay attention to different characteristics. But this means that your feminine facial expression is being scanned with laser precision. While other women focus on clothes and makeup, you're going to master the code that really matters, the silent language of genuine elegance. The conscious woman's advantage. While most women leave their facial expressions to chance, you're going to have conscious control over the impression you cause. This doesn't mean being fake. It means being intentional about revealing your true quality. It's the difference between a woman who happens to make a good impression occasionally and one who makes a good impression consistently. Researchers monitored eye movements to see how men and women evaluate online dating profiles and discovered that the first 10 seconds completely determine the impression. This happened because the brain forms almost instantaneous conclusions. Therefore, mastering these first seconds is mastering all your future interactions. The deep psychology of elite attraction. Did you know that perception of facial expressions differs between cultures, but there's a universal core that transcends borders? This happened because certain characteristics are engraved in our evolutionary DNA. Therefore, when you master these universal signals, you become attractive regardless of cultural context. Studies show that observers can predict actions from facial emotional expressions during real-time social interactions. This means that your expression not only communicates who you are, it literally influences what people do with you. There's a concept in social psychology called social currency, visual status signals that make other people want to associate with you. This happened because our survival always depended on making alliances with high-value people. But what few know is that a quality facial expression is the most powerful social currency that exists. When you master these 3 signals, you don't just become more attractive. You become someone other people want to meet, impress, and include in their circles. The science of effortless elegance. Recent research investigated the impact of specific microexpressions in televised speeches and discovered that authentic microexpressions create a stronger emotional connection with the audience. This happened because the brain detects authenticity instantly. Therefore, when your micro-expressions are genuine, you create deeper connections without conscious effort. That's why some women seem magnetic without doing anything obvious. They're not trying, they simply are. Have you ever noticed how truly powerful women, CEOs, renowned actresses, royalty, have a presence that is both warm and commanding? They've mastered the art of being simultaneously accessible and respectable. Studies on feminine body language in corporate environments show that women who project elegant confidence advance more rapidly in their careers. This happened because they're perceived as natural leaders. But the secret isn't in seeming masculine, it's in mastering powerful femininity. The X factor that changes everything. Studies on attractiveness show that women with expressions that indicate emotional well-being are classified as more attractive regardless of physical characteristics. This happened because inner well-being is universally attractive. Therefore, working on your internal state is the best beauty investment you can make. That's why some women are considered beautiful without having conventionally perfect features. They radiate a beauty that comes from within. Research confirms that people with facial expressions that transmit well-being are automatically associated with higher socioeconomic status. This happened because our brain makes instantaneous connections between appearance of satisfaction and success. Therefore, when you project genuine contentment, you project success. This is the secret superpower of truly elegant women. They don't need to prove anything because their expression already communicates everything. The silent revolution. When you apply these principles, you're not just changing how you're perceived, you're changing how you relate to the world. You stop worrying so much about external approval because you know you're communicating your internal truth. This genuine confidence creates a virtuous cycle. The more confident you feel, the more natural the correct signals become, which generates more positive responses, which increases your confidence. When you apply these principles consistently, something magical happens. People start treating you differently without knowing why. You receive warmer smiles, better service, opportunities that previously went unnoticed. It's an invisible but profound transformation. You haven't changed anything obvious, but you've changed everything that matters. The neuroscience behind feminine charisma. Neuroimaging studies revealed that when we observe faces, specific areas of the brain activate in milliseconds to process trustworthiness, attractiveness, and social status. This happened because our survival depended on these quick evaluations. Therefore, your facial expression is literally programming the brain of whoever looks at you. Researchers discovered that women who exhibit authentic microexpressions of contentment activate reward centers in observers' brains. It's as if you were a neurological magnet for positive experiences. Social psychology studies show that people unconsciously imitate facial expressions of individuals they perceive as high quality. This happened because our brain seeks to connect with successful energy. Therefore, when you project the right signals, you literally elevate the environment around you. The legacy of your elegance. Think about it. Every woman who sees you mastering these signals learns that it's possible to be powerful and feminine simultaneously. You become a living example that true elegance isn't about perfection. It's about refined authenticity. Your impact goes beyond yourself. You raise the standard for all women around you. In private clubs in New York, at vernissages in Soho, at corporate dinners where real decisions are made, there's an unwritten code. This happened because these environments filter people who know how to communicate quality effortlessly, but you don't need to be born with a silver spoon to learn this language. What separates a woman who belongs in these environments from one who's trying to belong? The first isn't trying to impress. She simply exists with a presence that invites respect. The difference that changes your life. When you master these 3 signals, something interesting happens. You stop worrying so much about the impression you're making because you know you're sending the right signals. This genuine confidence creates a positive cycle. The more confident you become, the more natural the signals become. Studies confirm that emotional availability and facial softness are evaluated before physical beauty. This happened in controlled experiments. Therefore, you can literally become more attractive without changing your physical appearance. The difference between being noticed and being respected lies in invisible details. This happened in studies where women with expressions that indicated emotional well-being received differentiated treatment in all tested environments. But most women will never know this because they never paid attention to what their faces are communicating. When you master these signals, urban life becomes smoother. You don't force anything. but you get more. You don't demand respect, but you receive it naturally. It's like having an invisible superpower that works 24 hours a day. The future that awaits you. Imagine entering any environment and knowing you're communicating quality before even opening your mouth. Imagine conversations that flow naturally, people who feel attracted to your energy, opportunities that appear as if by coincidence. This isn't fantasy, it's the natural result of mastering the silent language of elegance. And now you have the keys to this kingdom. Your transformation doesn't just affect you. Every woman who sees you mastering this silent elegance learns that it's possible to be powerful without being aggressive, confident without being arrogant. Your signature in the world. Your facial expression is your signature in the world. Every interaction is an opportunity to sign with elegance or sign in haste. This happened because you always had this choice, but now you're aware of it. When you walk through life with this new awareness, you become a living example that true elegance isn't about external perfection. It's about refined inner peace. Most women will never know these secrets because they never questioned why some women receive differentiated treatment. They assume it's luck, natural beauty, or money. This happened because it's easier to believe in external factors. But you now know the truth. Every moment you postpone this transformation is one less moment living as the most refined version of yourself. Your facial expression is your signature in the world. Let it say what your soul already knows. You were born to be admired in silence. If this video awakens something in you and you're ready to elevate your elegance standard to a completely new level, comment 100% below. And if you want to be part of a community of women who are transforming their lives through authentic elegance, consider becoming a channel sponsor through the membership club with values starting at $4.99. Click the Become a Member button. Until our next elegant conversation, remember, you're not learning to be someone different. You're learning to reveal the extraordinary woman who was always there, waiting to be seen.